Welcome, everybody. We got about 20 seconds left, but that is not going to stop us. Hope y'all are ready for some F2 action, because I know I am. Let's get straight into it. Let's go ahead and see where we are racing. We are at the Dutch Grand Prix. The Netherlands are back on the calendar. We didn't have them on season 9. We're back for season 10. And I love this track. F2 loves this track. More than anything, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be the Zandvoort Netherlands circuit, 14 turns, 2.6 miles, 2 DRS zones on the main straight and in sector 2. And I'm getting some information. It looks like it's going to be a rain race. But before we get into that, your host here is D-Master OG. And quali has already started. We're already in here, and I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get straight into this, guys. Looks like Minico is currently in the lead. Surprising, right? Let's see. Turn on the lap data. As we are back for F2, guys. F2 is returning for at least the next 2 or 3 weeks. We haven't had a stream for a while, as the F2 drivers know, but I'm gonna be here for a little bit if we continue to do these. Depends on my schedule, and it depends on if anyone else wants to pick up streaming it. But it's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be super fun. Looks like Shrai's currently in P2. Let's see what he's gonna set for second sector. 56.4. I didn't get to see Minico's, but Minico is still faster. Dan of the Mac is currently in P3. Is he going to be able to take Shrai before the end of the line? Let's see. Dan of the Mac getting a great exit out of that last corner, looking pretty planted on top of the curb a little bit, but Shrai's just barely ahead, and he's going to keep P2. It's going to be Minico on pole position, Shrai on P2, Dan of the Mac in P3, all of them separated by about 4 tenths, and that is our top 3, because I didn't get to read anyone else. And as Edge said in chat, it's a wet race. Let's read off this qualifying one more time. Minico on pole, Shrai alongside in P2, Dan of the Max starting on P3, and Bouncy on the second row with him. JBTC in P5, Tivol in P6, and ending the third row. Homer, P7, and Satar in P8, ending the fourth row. Dutch Raven and Edge on the fifth row, and Chazzy, the lone high-tech, in the sixth row. We only have 11 people on this race, so it's gonna be a little bit tighter than usual, since everyone will get points if they finish, other than the last place, but there's probably going to be a DNF in here, so we'll see how it goes. And as you see there's the big rain that we were talking about, and it's scary. It's going to be definitely a sketchy race for our racers. I can't wait to see what these guys do. It looks like full wet too. It doesn't look interest condition yet. So we will see. As you can see, the cars on that right hand side. Yeah, I'm really excited. If y'all have missed F2, you're in the same boat as me. This series is amazing, and I can't even doubt it. As y'all see here, I have a Moose Racing League shirt, my season 8 shirt on, since I was season 8 champion with Punju. But you can see here in chat up here that we had the rain race called for. But now 5 lights are on, and away we go for F2 in Season 10. And it is a great start for Shrai, not so great of a start for Minico, as Minico's already lost 2 places, and he's getting pushed off the track by Dan of the Mac. Dan of the Mac pushed Minico off track, and there's a pileup of people checking up, and there's a big contact with Bouncy. Bouncy putting someone in a wall. I think that's JBTC, and this virtual safety car is already out on track. Try taking the lead of the race, and Bouncy from P4, I want to say. Yeah, P4, Bouncy having a great start, getting out of the commotion from Dana the Mac and Minico. Minico losing 7 positions after getting pushed off the track, but does he have any damage? That is the important part. It doesn't look like it, but the person in front of him does. JBTC does have damage. He has no front wing, so that's going to cost him a pit stop whenever they get closer, as there has been some position changes. Chazzy coming from last on the grid all the way to 5th place. Great start from him, but nowhere near where he wants to be at the front. And he's gonna just keep going forward with this race. And it looks like safety car maybe ending here soon, as it's already been a sector and a half since it had started. And it looks like the safety car still in. Let's get on board with Dana the Mac for the safety car restart. And they're away. Green lights are on around the track, and Bouncy got a great start off Try, but Dana the Mac did not get the start he wanted. He actually got a tighter apex than Bouncy. He got on the power a little bit earlier, but he wasn't able to capitalize since he just did not have the room. Bouncy was there, and actually he does have the room now. He has a little bit of a better exit out of the last corner, as we see JBTC coming inside to the pits to change his front wing, but Bouncy going on the outside. Dana the Mac taking the position very cleanly, as Bouncy tried to get that switchback done. Was not able to get it done, as they are now going through the hairpin here. It's a very tricky corner, especially in the wet. It's not flat coming out of this, especially in F2 cars. Bouncy got a great run out of the corner. His Try's just pulling away nearly a second now. Is Bouncy going to send it? No, he's not. He's thinking way better of it, but who does send it is Tivil. Tivil sent it. Not Tivil. Chazzy sent it on Tivil. Tivil losing one more position. Chazzy gaining another position. He's now 7 positions up from where he started. Amazing start from him, but Tivil actually sent it down the inside and retook the position. Now they're going side by side again, as Chazzy gave him a little tap on the exit of the corner, or at the entry of the corner. Now at the exit, he keeps the position. Tivil now behind. Is he going to have anything to respond? No, he doesn't. He's a little bit too far away, but he still is right behind Chazzy. Chazzy's going to be trying to close that 1.3 second gap to Bouncy up ahead. Bouncy losing a little bit of time to Dana the Mac. Dana the Mac just staying outside of that 1 second range of Try. Try doing a very good job to keep his pace on this 40 lap race so far. Is it going to get dry towards the end of the race? I don't know. We're just going to have to find out. Dana the Mac coming across the line 2nd place. 3rd is going to be Bouncy. Chazzy coming 4th. Tivil 5th. Minico 6th. Trying to get some of those positions back that he lost in his little Prema car. The other Prema is in 3rd position. Can they get a double podium here? As we know Minico's got the pace. He's just got to get through the lap traffic here. Or not lap traffic, but the traffic, as he is just cooking out of that corner. He got a great exit, not having to get on that bump, and he is just running as fast as he could to that front of the field. He's now up to 5th position. Tivil losing another position, going down to 6th. That was a great move from Minico at the exit of the hairpin. And he's going to try to just close that 1.6 second gap that Chazzy closes up. And actually, Chazzy sent it down the inside of Bouncy. I did not see them close up that much, but Bouncy is still side by side. He sent it back up the inside of Chazzy, pushing him a little bit at the mid corner, but they keep it straight. They're now going down into the 2nd DRS zone, but they do not have DRS. It's wet. And Chazzy does not make a move on it, but we actually saw Minico got a little sideways there at the entry of the corner. This helicopter shot is awesome, by the way. Chazzy, you can see he is so close to the rear end of Bouncy. He's going to be trying to get closer and closer and get back past, as it looks like Chazzy may have a little bit more speed than Bouncy here. But you can see Minico's already closed up 4.5 tenths. He's already within a second, but actually you see further behind, Edge and Tiv will swap positions. Tiv will just giving up that position to Edge, not really fighting it too hard, as Tivil's just going backwards. I think he's losing a little bit of confidence here, and in the wet, he's not looking too quick. But who is looking quick is Miniko. Miniko's already up into 5th position, 5 tenths from his teammate Bouncy, who was in 3rd. Bouncy goes off the racetrack. Bouncy went off on the left and just gave Miniko 4th position. And I think Miniko's going to be using his pace advantage to help Bouncy get the position on Chazzy, maybe, to give him a little bit. No, Bouncy! He had a huge lockup into the corner and lost the rear end. He's still losing the rear end, actually. But you can just see him struggling for rear end grip here. Just losing just little tiny snaps other than that big lockup on the rear end. As you can see, Miniko's already down to 1.3 seconds on the gap to Chazzy. Chazzy's 1.9 from the next driver, but you actually saw there Bouncy hit the wall after going onto the runoff at the second hairpin of the first hairpin of the 3rd sector. And that was not ideal for his race. He's gone down to P7 after being in P5. Edge moves up to P5. Tivil moves up to P6 from Bouncy's mistake, as we have Chazzy setting the fastest lap of the race with a 34.0. Very quick lap time there in the wet, as everyone's just pushing to get further up the field. Miniko's already closed up a 10th in a little bit, 2 tenths now. He's closing up to Chazzy very quickly. Who's not closing up to Chazzy is nobody, because actually Miniko's the only one closing up to Chazzy. Everyone else is actually going further back. As you can see, Edge is losing time. Tivil's losing a lot of time. As I said earlier, he's not doing very confident. He's already at 1.3 seconds after a lap of Edge being in front. And Miniko's already down to half a second from Chazzy. Miniko is running up to the front of this field for his own benefit. He did qualify pole by, what, 2 tenths, I want to say, from Try and then Dana the Mac. So everyone in the top 3 have stayed basically the same, as we can see here, other than Miniko, who has gone down 7 positions. I think he was in P8. He's now in the P4. He's gained 4 positions back in the span of 4 laps. That's a pretty impressive feat. Now he's going to have to get past Chazzy, who's had a great race so far. He's up in the 3rd place, a podium position in, what, a quarter of the race? Not even a quarter of the race. An 1/8 of the race. Sorry, Miniko setting the fastest lap with a 33.9, nearly hitting the back of Chazzy there, as he was very late on the brakes. Chazzy not as confident on the brakes as Miniko, but he is closing up to Dana the Mac. Dana the Mac is lost 4 and a bit, 5 tenths from Shry. Shry is leading the race by 2.4 seconds. This is an amazing gap to have, and this is exactly what you want as the ART driver is trying to get this win from Miniko, since Miniko is the person to beat in F2. He is rapid in these cars. As you see, Chazzy is struggling with that rear end traction. Are we going to see a move from Miniko here very soon? I think so. As you can just see, so much more planted from Miniko. As we have a yellow flag back, it's going to be Bouncy. Bouncy has hit the wall, and it's a full safety car. Full safety car for Bouncy in the wall. Shry's 4 seconds ahead of Dana the Mac. Maybe it was Delta, but that is an insane safety car. Right now, what is the rain going? What are the drivers going to do strategy-wise? Is anyone willing to pit here? I think the only people that would pit here are going to be the Tridents, the Prema of Bouncy, maybe Homer and Dutch Raven as well, but the top 4 I don't think would pit. Never mind, Shry comes into the pits, Dana the Mac comes into the pits, Chazzy comes... Okay, everyone's pitting. Okay, Miniko comes into the pits, and Edge, yep, he's also coming into the pits. Tivil... No, Edge doesn't come into the pits, Tivil doesn't come into the pits. So they're going to have the lead of this race. Edge is leading the F2 Netherlands Grand Prix around Zandvoort. Tibble is in P2. Schrei is going to come out of the pit lane in P3. Dana the Mac is coming out in P4. Chazzy in P5. Minico in P6. As we have Dutch Raven come into the pits. Homer come into the pits. Bouncy, I'm 100% sure he's going to pit here. There's no reason not to. Satar stays out of the pits. Satar stays out. So she's going to be moved up to P7 behind Minico. So this is going to prove to be one of the trickier spots to race, as Satar has a lot of fast people in front, but two people who did not pit are on the same tires as Satar are Edge and Tibble. They will be on the same tires on the 6-lap-old wets. Same with nobody. Actually, JBTC comes into the pits. He repairs his front wing as well as changes his tires. His rear tires have been changed. His front tires have been changed. And he is good to go. Front wing change puts him to the back of the grid. Bouncy comes out of the pits in P10. Dutch Raven in P9. Everyone but Satar and our leader, Edge and Tivil, are on new tires. Everyone but them are on new tires. Schrei is the lead new tire runner. Dana the Mac is in effective P2. Just depends on how long these guys can hold out these wets and how long these guys can hold back these fast drivers, because they're gonna catch up. They're gonna pass. That is not a question of if. It is a question of when. I'm not doubting Tivil or Edge's ability. It's Schrei, Dana the Mac, Chazzy, and Minico we're talking about. Minico has had one hell of a race so far, to go down to 8th, up into 4th, back down to 6th now after this safety car. Unfortunate for him, but someone who's had an even more unfortunate race is Bouncy. Bouncy has had an unfortunate race. Satar comes into the pits. Satar is now in the pits, leaving Homer in P7, as well as Dutch Raven in P8. Satar moving down to P9, it's going to be, after everyone has crossed and came back up to the safety car. So everyone but the front two are on new tires. Now it's a question of when these guys are going to get passed by the field, not if they're going to get passed by the field. What has happened here? So, talking about strategy, I don't think these wets will go to the end. I think they'll have to pit again anyways, but I don't think the play here was to stay out. I think the play here was to come into the pits and have new tires for when inevitably another safety car comes out and you just go onto another set of tires. Pretty sure you get 3 sets of wet tires in F2. Maybe you just get 2 and I'm being dumb and these guys have all thrown their second set to waste. But right now, I can't doubt any decisions. Actually, we have Edge come into the pits. Edge comes into the pits on the 3rd lap of safety car. Edge gets a 5-second for speeding in the pits. Edge got a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane, and that's going to cost him heavily at his next pit stop. Tibble gets into the lead of the race now from Schrei in P2, Dana the Mac in P3, Chazzy in P4, Minico into P5 for this restart, unless Tibble comes into the pits at the last second. Bouncy getting a 3-second time penalty under safety car, as I think he doesn't have a front. No, his end plate's gone again. His end plate is gone. He hit the wall at the last corner, and he has lost his left front end plate. Unfortunate for him. That's not going. This race is not going very well so far for him, as he's drifting around that first corner very, very nicely. As his tires are not going to be liking that one too much. Alright, are we going to get caught up to the safety car here, guys? Please? That would be awesome. I was looking for water, but I don't have any water. I forgot to prepare. Guys, if you're in the stream and if you can hear me, please like the stream. It really helps us. And if you haven't already, subscribe, join the Discord. We love to have more and more people in. And liking the stream really supports us. Not everyone has caught up to the safety car by the mandatory safety car in lap, as Tibble is going to be restarting us, and there's still 3 people who have not caught the safety car. Sitar, Bouncy, and JBTC have not caught the safety car, as they are still about 20 seconds back in total. But Tibble's already coming across the last corner now. Is he going to be restarting us on the banking? Let's see. I'm going to ride on board with Dana the Mac as we get a restart going. We are off. Tibble has gone, and Try has gotten a great restart off of Tibble. And Dana the Mac, a great restart off of Chazzy. Chazzy had a horrible restart, and we actually see Miniko going down the inside of Chazzy for P3, and we see Tibble already getting passed by Shry and Dana the Mac, both of them getting passed in one corner. Great move from both of them to just slip on by, now leaving Tibble to get passed by Miniko, and he does. Miniko takes the inside line. Tibble goes off. He's off the circuit. He goes onto the grass a little bit, gets a really bad exit. Homer takes P5, and Dutch Raven also takes P6, P7 for Edge as well. Tibble moved down to P8 in the span of a sector. Very, very bad start for him, but we actually see the cars that did not get caught up too well did get caught up a little bit easier. Dana the Mac is now getting pressure from Miniko. Miniko gotten past Chazzy in that first corner. Very good move from him. He's now going to be rushing up to the front of the field as fast as possible, trying to get Dana the Mac on traction. He actually gets really, really good traction through here. I've seen his lines. Dana the Mac not getting the best traction, already getting pulled out of a second by Shry. Shry's already a second off, but actually looked like Shry went deep into the corner. Shry lost a little bit of time in the corner, and he's lost about nothing. He actually evened in the corner. He gained it at the second part. So very good recovery from him, but Miniko is 3/10 from Dana the Mac for P2 of this race. Is Miniko going to be able to take this P2 spot from Dana the Mac this lap? No, he's not. Try gets a 33.6 fastest lap. That's 3/10 faster than what Miniko put down a little bit ago on older used tires. I guess that does make sense. Now they're a little bit more comfortable with these conditions. Miniko, as you can see, is on the right back end of Dana the Mac, and he's trying to find any way past Dana Mac, covering that inside line off. Very smart from him, not letting Miniko take any line that's gonna benefit him. Miniko sliding all over the place. He had a big snap at a corner that's normally flat. That's not good to see. As you can see, Chazzy's right on the back of Miniko now. Miniko lost about 3/10 doing that one. But Dana the Mac is still losing a little bit of time to Shry. He's already down 3/10 from the last time we checked in, which was 1.2. No, never mind. He's down half a second in this corner. Miniko has caught up very, very significantly. Dana the Mac must have had a mistake there. I did not catch that. Dana the Mac going pretty slowly compared to Miniko. Miniko's already 2/10 behind Dan. Dan goes to the inside line, trying to defend a little bit, but he doesn't go fully inside, as Miniko does not take an offensive move here. As we can see a little bit closer when I change the scene, Chazzy's still on the back end of Miniko, so these 3 are really, really close. Miniko struggling a little bit here on these new tires. Shry putting in a 33.4. Chazzy getting past Miniko in a very, very great fashion. Miniko going down the inside. Chazzy going around the outside. They're still side by side coming around the corner. Still side by side, but Miniko has the better traction out of the corner, and he can keep the position and cuts him off. So he's no longer in that contention for getting a switchback or getting a side-by-side move done. Miniko now trying to get closer to Dana the Mac. Dana the Mac lost a second that last lap. He's already down to 2.5 seconds from the lead of the race, who is Shry, and he's going to be very much trying to keep pulling for the next 28 laps of this race. It's going to be very good to see how big that gap may become. So we actually see Tibble and Homer going side by side. Tibble passing Homer on, or not. Yeah, it looks like Tibble actually passed Homer, who's really struggling. He went over those curbs. That is not a good curb to go over. Trust me, you can bottom out very easily and spin the car. And not a great place to be, especially in the wet where it's very slippery on these curbs. We can actually see a little bit further up ahead. We have Minico still on the back end of Dana the Mac. Dana the Mac already 3.1 seconds from the lead, who is Shry. What? Fry's putting in lap after lap. 33-1. What a lap from him. Minico needs to get his move on really, really soon because he is pulling away. He's already at 3. He was at 3.5 seconds for a moment there, but no longer, as we actually have Tivol and Homer switching positions one more time. Homer overtaking Tivol for P8 on this race, as I think here, if Minico goes for a move, Chazzy will follow because they are pretty close and they will not. Uh, it's like go-karts. Once one person gets offline, they're probably gonna lose not one but two positions if they're close enough. And Chazzy is keeping within half a second of Minico, so he is definitely close enough. But Minico needs to make this move done. Try is already 3.7 seconds out of Dana the Mac. Dana Mac doing a little bit of defending here from Minico. Minico having a little bit of a slide out of the corner, but he gets good traction anyways. He gets a better exit, looks like. Maybe a little bit of slipstream helping him out, but he is still holding on to P3 for the time being. Chazzy holding on to P4. The fight for P2 has not been closer than it is right now. 7 tenths separate the top, well, from P2 to P4. The fight for second place. That is a very, very close gap, and it looks like the gap is going to be closing in now. But Dana the Mac is not going to be very, very likely to not defend this position from Minico. Yes, he does. He defends it. He stays on the inside. Minico's on the outside. Very good battle from these two, as we have, oh my god, Dana the Mac giving them a little tap on the rear left tire, or sorry, rear right tire, as they were just Minico trying to close up that gap on Dana the Mac to avoid him getting the undercut or the switchback into the next corner. Minico has taken P2 of this race, but Dana the Mac has lost another position. Dana the Mac lost P3 to Chazzy. He made a big mistake at the exit of the long right-hander, and he went on that curb and lost the position to Chazzy. Chazzy now into P3, Minico up into P2. He has 4.2 seconds to catch to Shry. Is he going to be able to catch it? He's actually still losing a little bit of time, even in clean air. So is he going to have the pace to catch up? Only time will tell. We have 26 laps left after we cross the line. It's going to be an intense 26 because they're always pushing to go faster and faster. As we're going to see probably Minico put on the nitrous on this next lap. He's going to be going as fast as he can to pull out of the slipstream of Chazzy, as he's still within 8 tenths, 7, 6, 5 tenths now. Chazzy's probably running a little bit lower downforce than Minico. It looks like he's gaining a lot of time on the straight, but is the lower downforce on the straights good in the corners? Yes, he's catching. Looks like Shry's just on another level. Minico is not catching Shry. Shry is already 5 seconds out from Minico on the same tire, guys. Great battle for P2 here, as Chazzy has not given up on taking Minico to the rest of the race, being right on the back end of Minico. Still 4 tenths separating Minico and Chazzy. Dana the Mac has already lost 1.5 seconds from these two. He's going backwards, and Edge has already gone backwards. He's already nearly 6 seconds back from the top 4. Not a very good position for him so far. As you can see there, I cut to Dana the Mac at the perfect moment. Sorry, guys. Whew. Perfect moment, as he had a slide out of that corner. Chazzy in the Red Bull liveried car is still trying to keep on the back end of Miniko. Is he going to have enough of a straight line speed advantage out of this next corner to get him? I saw last time he gained 3/10 on this straight alone. Is he going to be able to gain more with this slipstream? 5 seconds now from Miniko to Shry up front. Doesn't look like Shazzy gained as much. Maybe Miniko had a mistake at the last corner? Maybe he hit the wall a little bit? I don't know. It doesn't look like he has front wing damage or anything, so may not be too major if he did hit the wall. That could also make sense. If he has a little bit of front wing damage, could make sense why he's losing out a little bit of time to Shry, as that gap is just not closing at all. It's actually growing. It's now up to 4.8 seconds. Never mind. It's now going down. Yeah, it does feel like forever. It's been a week and 2 weeks, nearly week and a half since we've had NA at the amazing Canada race. So it's been a while. I agree with you, Boggs. It's very pleasant to see that we're back on track. We're back racing, especially in F2, since we haven't had an F2 race, an F2 stream since season 9. I personally couldn't believe that because I love F2 so much, and I was here for the season finale of F2 in season 9. But there hasn't been anyone to stream it other than me now. As we have a big snap from Bouncy, as we have going down the inside goes JBTC at the long left-hander of a hairpin there in the second sector. Does not get the move done. Bouncy keeping 8th position right now uh, for the time being, as we have Miniko and Chazzy going side by side down the main straight, still side by side through the first corner and getting a great exit. Miniko is still around the outside, giving each other as little room as possible, and they're still side by side through the entire first sector, still side by side coming out of the corner, but it looks like Chazzy just has the better exit. He has the better exit on the outside. Great move from Chazzy to get into P2 of the race. But Chazzy goes off. Miniko takes P2 of the race. Chazzy, I don't know if that was a bump for Miniko, but Chazzy definitely had an unfortunate mistake there that lost him a lot of time. Looks like JBTC got a penalty, but not nearly enough as Chazzy. He's already lost 2.5 seconds from Miniko. Miniko's already nearly 6 seconds back from Shry, so that has costed Miniko a lot of time. Chazzy now on the now getting pressured by Dana the Mac. Chazzy needs to keep it in a straight line, or else Dana the Mac will be there to capitalize on Chazzy's mistakes. These F2 races are so good to watch. They are so much fun. I know drivers love to drive in them. I know I love to watch them. And I cannot wait to see more. What a fantastic 17 laps of this race so far. Now going on to the 18th lap. Shry is 6 seconds ahead of Miniko. 6 seconds ahead of Miniko. That is something I did not think I would hear today. Miniko is still struggling to gain time on Shry. Shry's doing a very good job to keep this gap how it is. He's got to keep it for another 22 laps, and he'll be the victor of this race. Chazzy no longer challenging for P2 at this point. He's now getting challenged for P3. Dana the Max sees the podium position, and he is trying his best to stay with him through this first sector, second sector, as they are very tricky technical sectors, especially in the wet where the grip is low and it's very slippery. As actually we have Chazzy made a huge mistake at the exit of the corner. He has lost his front wing, and his virtual safety car is out, and a full safety car is out for one more time in this race. Chazzy has lost his front wing, and that's kind of saved him a little bit, but he's going to have to pit here soon, and it's not going to be looking too good, as he had to slow down really hard there for the Delta. Dana the Mac takes P3 from Chazzy. Chazzy, what a mistake he had there. I don't think it was what's it called, contact, because I don't think Dana the Mac was close enough. I think he was at least like 7-8 tenths back last time I saw them. So I think it was just a self-inflicted error from Chazzy. Dana the Mac now into P3, Miniko into P2. Shry comes into the pits. He's now going to be changing his tires. And Miniko does look like he's coming into the pits as well. Dana the Mac also comes into the pits. Chazzy is obviously going to come into the pits. There's no reason for him not to. He has to change his front wing. That's going to lose him a little bit of time. Is that going to be enough time for Edge to get past Chazzy? Let's see. As actually we have Edge come into. Oh no, Edge has a penalty, so he's gonna be serving that. Miniko comes out in front of. Miniko. Miniko lost a position to Dan. Miniko has lost a position to Dana the Mac, as well as Dutch Raven. Dutch Raven is side by side at the exit of the pit exit, and he's passed. Dutch Raven gets P3. Both ARTs on the podium currently, but one of them has not pitted for new tires. Shry and Dana the Mac are on new tires in P1 and 2. Dutch Raven in P3 on 12-lap old wet tires. Miniko and Chazzy on new tires, as well as Edge and Homer behind. JBTC comes into the pits, Tibble comes into the pits, Bouncy and Satara come into the pits, so everyone has come into the pits other than Dutch Raven, and he is out on the same set of tires that he pitted the first safety car. I think that these tires can go to the end of the race now. I do think these tires being brand new and having the ability to take these tires a little bit longer than what they would have been originally, that really does help the tire life of them. As actually it looks like JBTC came in and got on the same set of tires that he started the race on, I want to say. That might be an interesting call. It just chose it for him automatically, obviously, but it's going to be interesting to see what the 1-lap tire pace is going to be against the 0-lap tire pace of the people around him. But this has brought in Miniko once more to the lead of the race. Dana the Mac as well. Dana the Mac was struggling a little bit before the safety car came out. He was losing a little bit of positions, just trying to keep it on track. He was up into P3, but he wasn't gaining on the guys in front, which is definitely not what you want to see. You always want to be gaining on the cars in front. As we cross our first lap for the safety car, we have 2 more laps until it is forced to come in. Shry holding the lead of this race. He has not come off this lead of the race since the start, when he got a great jump from Miniko, and Miniko had a horrible start. Shry is in P1, P2 is Dana the Mac, P3 is Dutch Raven, Miniko in P4, which is going to turn into P3 really shortly, as Dutch Raven has not pit yet, as you can see up there in that top right up there. Further back, we got Chazzy in P5, Edge in P6, Homer in P7, Tivil in P8, Bouncy in P9. There's some position changes going on back here. I don't know what's going on. Looks like Bouncy lost his front wing. Bouncy doesn't have a front wing, and he's gone off. And it looks like he's going to be coming into the pits to change that front wing as soon as possible. But JBTC also has no front wing. JBTC also is missing a part of his left front end plate, and that's going to cost him another pit stop. He's probably going to be going on to another set of used tires. I don't know which tires he's going to be going on to. Which tires are these? As we have the safety car now coming in to the last corners now. They're not going to lap this car as JBTC goes on to 5-lap old wets. So there are another set of used tires. Bouncy goes on to 6-lap old wets. Satar now into P9. Trident not having a great race today, as what happened here? Okay. Oh my god, these guys who just came out of the pits, Bouncy and JBTC, are nearly getting lapped by the safety car. That is the 2nd lap of the safety car, and they will definitely not be catching up. This is the lap that it's coming in, for sure. It has to come in this lap. And the last person to catch up is probably going to be Tibble. As Miniko actually got past Chazzy there for a sec. Chazzy. Wait. What? Okay. That's what I thought. That is what I thought. Chazzy moves down to P5 one more time. I don't know what that was. Miniko had actually gotten overtaken by Chazzy, and I think it let the game let Chazzy keep the position. But he was a gentleman, and he got off track to let Miniko by, also to prevent his own penalty, but that's apart from the point. Miniko now back into P4. He's ready to have Dutch Raven in his grips. Let's see what this race restart is going to look like. Try is going to be restarting us one more time halfway through the race. So can these guys make it to the end of the race? Yes. Are they going to be comfortable at the end of the race? We're only going to be able to find out, aren't we? Because it's going to be an intense one. Let's ride on board as Bouncy retired from the session. Bouncy comes into the pits and retires. Safety car's out another lap. What? Did I count wrong? This is the third safety car lap. Okay, well, another lap we go. Safety car stays out another lap. Bouncy retiring from the session, and it makes the top 10 remain, and this means that everyone who finishes this race will get at least a single point. Broke my wing four times in that lap. I give up. Fair enough, Bouncy. I would do the same thing, to be fair. It's tricky conditions. Actually, looks like it's maybe lightening up on the rain a little bit. No, never mind. It's still wet. Never mind. Bouncy retiring from the session, not having a great race, understandably so. But now, if the safety car doesn't come in this lap, there's a big problem. Every time you go around the final corner, you tap the wall. Yeah, that's fair. That's it's not fun to just keep breaking your wing. I completely understand. And how's it going, Amardia? Amardia X Edits? What is up? And yep, safety car is in this lap. Let's go ahead, change over to the in-game scene so we can see the full screen of this action. We're gonna ride on board with Miniko for this. And it broke coming out of the pits. Ooh, rip. That's not ideal. Yep. Breaking your front wings, it feels rough. Let's ride on board. 3 laps for safety car. This is the 4th lap, I'm pretty sure, if I didn't count that incorrectly. Let's see, Shry is keeping everyone pretty steadily at what looks like to be 60-70 kph. And actually we can see the... And they're gone. Everyone has gone. And Dutch Raven has gotten a pretty shoddy start to this restart. And he's already about a second from P2. Going side by side with Miniko on new tires. Dutch Raven goes deep into the corner. Pushes Miniko off. Not off, but really, really wide. Chazzy takes advantage of those and says thank you very much. Takes P3 of the race. And now Miniko takes Dutch Raven as he's also getting taken by Edge on new tires. And, ooh, that's scrappy. Edge trying to make a move on Dutch Raven on old tires. He's unable to do so yet. But actually it looks like further back we have Homer trying to make something stick to or defend. But actually it looks like Miniko has gone straight on. I think his controller disconnected. I think Miniko's controller has disconnected. No! No! Miniko's controller is disconnected and he's off. He just went straight on, and I don't know how he didn't break his front wing, just hitting the barrier straight like that, but wow. He's now out of the race. He's out of contention for the win. Completely out of contention. Who's not out of contention is Dana the Mac and Chazzy. Both of them are still within 2 seconds of the lead. Dana the Mac already having lost a second 1.1 to Shry. Chazzy having gained 2 positions from the restart from Dutchy and Minico. Now Shry putting in a 32.6. 32.6 when earlier you couldn't get down below a 34. That's insanely quick. And it looks like the track is drying up. It's getting lighter and lighter as you can see the lap time coming down, but it could be the new tires. It could be the track drying up. It could be a lot of things. Oh man, Minico speeds into the pit and retires. That feels rough. Now 9 people left in this race, JBTC being the 9th. Unless he actually had spun it and broke his front wing in the last sector. Unfortunate for him. Minico has left the session. Bye, gotta sleep. See ya. I still don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. Amardia? Have a great rest of your night. I hope you have a wonderful sleep. Who's not having a wonderful sleep is Dano the Mac as he is sliding all over the place, and Chazzy goes down the inside, takes advantage of Dano the Mac's horrible run through that corner and says thank you very much, another position for me. And Chazzy moves up into P2, 2 seconds from the lead of this race, and he's going to be pushing as hard as he can to get Shry. Closing up to Shry is going to be a challenge for him, but he's going to try his best. As they race in the normal tier together, they are both tier 2 drivers, and it's going to be very close between them. It's going to be very tight. It's going to be very fun to see. Chazzy gaining a little bit, I think about a 10th there, just about even from Shry, and Dana the Mac losing about 7/10 after getting overtaken. Edge down 4 seconds from the podium position, but he's in P4. Very great finish for him if he can just keep this on where it is. Homer trying to defend a little bit from Dutch Raven on older tires. Dutch Raven going wide, very, very wide. He locked up the tires a little bit. He goes straight on into the corner. Unfortunate for him, getting a little bit of gravel onto those tires. Not going to be doing him any good for the rest of this first sector, where he's going to have a little bit of understeer. As we actually see Tivol has front left end plate damage. So he's going to be losing a little bit of time to Dutch Raven if Dutch Raven can keep it on track on his very, very old tires. I don't doubt that his tires are not feeling great right now, but that's just how it is whenever you stay out hoping for another safety car. 15 laps left to go as we can see Dana the Max sliding all over the place, trying to stay with Chazzy. Chazzy getting left by 2-3 tenths this lap from Try. It's going to be a very, very close battle for these guys for the next 15 laps. I love to see it. These guys are running similar pace, not the same pace, because they're still pulling away from each other. Chazzy not being able to close up to Shry on this lap. He's lost about 4 tenths on this lap, 4 or 5 tenths. And he's going to be hoping to find a little bit extra. Shry puts in a 32.4. Insane lap. That is 5 tenths from Chazzy. Chazzy doing a 32.9 as his fastest lap currently. Dana the Mac doing a 33.3 for his fastest lap currently. The only other person in the 33s is 33.5 from Edge. Edge going really, really well, considering that he doesn't do any practice. Edge has no interest in doing practice, and he's still doing really well, only about 2 tenths off of Dana the Mac, who is in P3 right now on fastest lap wise. Chazzy not able to do much. He got a fastest sector 2 there, but he's still about 2.6 seconds from the leader here. Dana the Mac 1.8 seconds. He is struggling to get this car have this car put down its traction, and it is, I can see it. He is just sliding all over the place. 1.8 seconds to Chazzy in front. Great performance from Chazzy and Try here to just keep P1 and P2 and pull away from the rest of the field. Dana the Mac is actually gaining on Edge, so you can just see how much these guys are how fast these guys are going, basically. Let's pull this up real quick, as we have a 32.8 from our race leader. Let's see the fastest lap, 32.5 from Chazzy. So he has improved a lot on that lap. He's down to 2.1 seconds on the gap to Shry. As you can see, the Alpine BWT car. I don't know if it's an Alpine, but it's a BWT car in front is getting a little bit closer every lap. But I think Shry just has to bring it home at this point. Just do consistent laps, do as fast laps as you can, but don't make any mistakes and defend well whenever or if Chazzy manages to catch up, and he's got this win in the bag. Remember, these guys have been on these tires since lap 17, so they've got to do 23 laps on these tires. Or sorry, lap 18. So they've got to do 22 laps on these tires, 23 laps. 5 of them were under safety car. But that's still wear. That's still some wear that you're going to have. And it's not going to feel great at the end of the race. 20 something lap old tires at 3% wear rate is still 60%. And you're going to be nearing puncture territory if you're having more than 3% tire wear per lap. And it'll get sketchy if you get to that point. There's going to be not a lot of grip left. The tires are going to be basically slicks at that point, and you're going to be sliding a lot. It looks like it's still pretty wet. Doesn't look like the conditions have improved any, as we still have about 2.1 seconds from Chazzy and the race lead. Actually, it's coming down to 2 seconds now. Chazzy gonna go better exit than Shry at the hairpin of the first sector. He does a 31.5, improving on his previous best. Looks like it's purple, but I don't know if that's a true purple or not. We will see whenever he crosses the line, and he is gaining time. He's gained 2/10 there. Lost another 2/10, and it's just how it varies from corner to corner. He's overall keeping the gap within about 2 seconds, and trying to get as much power down as possible to close up the gap. I think this may be a new fastest lap, as he's already 1.3 tenths up on his current fastest, which would put him on the fastest lap, I would say. Yes, it would. Just about a tenth would put him on the fastest lap. So if he can keep that 1/10.5 of an improvement on this last corner, he should be able to keep that fastest lap on a roll, as JBTC comes into the pits and gets a 5-second penalty for speeding. No fastest lap, 32.6, so he lost it at the last corner. He lost that time that he gained in the last sector. Unfortunate for him, but it's still a really good lap time. He caught up a couple of tenths to Shry, and it's a very good effort from him to just keep going forward. We got about 11 laps left after everyone crosses the line, and our closest battle on track is going to be Tibble and Homer. Tibble still having the front wing damage. So does Homer. Homer also has the same front wing damage that Tibble has. So this is an apples to apples race. As we see, Dutch Raven is still on the 22 lap old wet tires. This is what the tires are going to feel like at the end of the race for everybody else. Very slidey coming out through there. You can see the tires are just not giving the same grip anymore. Honestly, just a great performance from Shry so far. Pulled out 4/10 on this lap from Chazzy. Maybe Chazzy made a little bit of a mistake, but Chazzy lost 4/10, now down to 2.4 seconds. Or up to 2.4 seconds, 2.5 seconds on the delta of Chazzy and Shry for P1 and P2. Great pace from Shry, pulling it out here on 10 lap old tires. Went a 32.6, and Shazzy did a 32.9, so he gained about 3-4 tenths that lap. Good consistency from Shry. And he's kind of walking away with this race, as we have 10 laps to go, 3/4 of the race already done, just a quarter left, and there's 2.6 seconds separating the top two. Top three are separated by 6 seconds, nearly 7, and number 4 is separated by 15 seconds from the lead. That's one hell of a gap from P1 to P3. Or P4, I mean. It does make sense. Edge does not practice, and he is the only tier 4 driver in here right now. Everyone else is going to be tier 5 behind. Tivol, Homer, Dutch Raven, Sitar's in tier 6. JBTC, I want to say, is in tier... Or, sorry, Homer's in tier 6 as well. I want to say JBTC is in tier 5. So, yeah, a little bit of a slide there. Shry is in tier 2. Shazzy is in tier 2. Dan of the Mac is in tier 3. So, considering he can keep up with these guys, it's showing his pace. We have JBTC stopped on the racetrack here, as he is backwards. I didn't even notice he was backwards. I just thought he was stopped on the racetrack, as he is a full lap down from everyone. He's trying not to get in the way of his teammate Sitar, as he has been officially lapped. And he spins one more time just because his tires are dead. Now the gap from Chazzy to Shry is 3.2 seconds. I think Chazzy has given up on this fight for the lead. He's lost a lot of time these last 2 laps. Shry is just hyper consistent right now, doing an amazing job to keep this P1 position, and just pull away from the cars behind. He's looking forward, not backwards, not looking anywhere near his mirrors, as he's just pulling away, as Dan of the Mac still struggling with his rear traction. 5 seconds back from P2, just still pulling away from P4, so it's basically a dead zone from P1 to P5, P6. Well, P6 is a second and a half from P5, but Tivol is pulling away from Homer, so it's gonna be Tivol pulling for the time being. 9 seconds from Edge, 9 seconds from Dan, 5 seconds from Chazzy, and then 3.5 seconds from Shry. Make that 3 seconds, as clawed back a little bit of time. Shry, amazing performance. Amazing performance. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but 9 people left, and he is still putting in lap after lap. 32. This is going to be a 32.9, so he still did a 10th faster than Chazzy on this lap. That's still pretty impressive. So he is pushing harder than Chazzy, or he's going faster than Chazzy at least. In these conditions, great pace from Shry to be here right now. What? I think this is one of our least, maybe not least entertaining, but this is definitely one of those parts where having less people definitely makes it a little less interesting. Because 9 people left, only 2 people DNF'd, and those 2 people who DNF'd were both Prema cars. Unfortunate for them. But right in front of them are the 2 Trident cars, so they're not having a great race either. As we have one car that's already been fully lapped, that would be JVTC, by everyone in the field. Everyone in the field has lapped JBTC, even Sitar. So this has been a rough race for both Prema and Trident. ART are having a half and half race, since Shry is dominating and Dutchy is on 25 lap tires, and he's nearly spinning. Great catch from Dutch Raven there, but he's just very slidey on these 25 lap old wet tires. As Chazzy is not really gaining anymore to Shry. He gained a little bit of time, gained back, I'd say, a 10th and a half, 2 tenths, but he's still at that 3-second point where even if Shry did get an off-track penalty here, which I doubt, because it's not that easy to get an off-track penalty at Netherlands, unless you're really abusing the curbs, which isn't recommended anyways. as these curbs are pretty killers and they can bottom you out. He still has that gap to where he can get a 3-second penalty and still probably win this race from Chazzy. Chazzy now 3.5 seconds from the lead. Just given a little bit more breathing room for Shry. More and more every lap. Dana the Mac down to 6.8 seconds, nearly 7 seconds to P2. That is basically solidifying him in P3 if he can keep it on the road. And Edge, 10 seconds from the car behind, 10 seconds from the car in front. He is in dead. He is in the biggest dead zone of the track, other than JBTC, because JBTC is pretty obvious. Dutchy's actually losing so much time. Sitar is coming to the back of Dutchy now. Sitar, 1.3 seconds to Dutch Raven, as Dutch Raven's just struggling on these tires. 26 laps versus 14, basically half the wear that Dutch Raven has right now. You can see it. Sitar has already gained 3/10 in that second sector alone. Getting a little bit better traction than Dutch Raven. Let's see, Dutchy getting on that curb. It's going to lose him a little bit of time. Yes, it is. He's down to 6/10 now from the car to the car behind Sitar. Now, is Dutchy going to be able to defend from Sitar and keep P7? Remember, guys, everyone who finished this race keeps points. They bring home points, at least 2 points, I'm pretty sure, for 9th place. So, you just have to finish the race, not get into any incidents that'll disqualify you or take you out of the race, and you'll be golden. Because actually, you can see JBTC, or not JBTC, sorry, Sitar has already gained to half a second. Oh, nearly hitting into the back of Dutch Raven there. Going really close, as Dutch Raven probably had a snap on those horrible tires. I would say they're probably punctured. They're going to puncture here soon. I'm surprised he's gone this long. I thought the tire wear would be more. Maybe I was wrong about the tire wear numbers, or maybe Dutchy is just making a godly tire saving strategy here as he defends from Sitar. Very great defending, holding off that inside line so Sitar couldn't get it. And now holding off the inside line one more time, keeping a racing line. Sitar has more grip at this point, but she's not able to use any of it because Dutchy is defending very, very well. Dutchy going to the inside, Sitar holding the outside. Now, is Sitar going to have enough straight line speed to go alongside? Does not look like it. But Sitar is going to set up the switchback, and the switchback was made. What a switchback from the Trident driver, Sitar Elvin, going up into P7. Dutch Raven struggling more and more on those tires as he almost spun coming out of turn 1. Great move from Sitar, letting Dutch Raven take the inside, go deep into the corner, and get the beautiful switchback, putting her into P7. Great job. Wow, great stuff so far, as we have 4 laps to go in the Dutch Grand Prix. Shry 4 seconds from Chazzy now. Dan and the Mac 8 seconds from Chazzy. Edge 13 seconds from Dan of the Mac. Tivol 12 seconds from Edge. So that gap is increasing pretty linearly from Tivol, Edge, and Dan of the Mac. They're all spreading out between about the same pace. It's wild to think that Dutch Raven, the person who just got past, is already 4 seconds back from Sitar as he goes into a wall there. Hopefully he didn't get any front wing damage, but he's feeling the tire wear. He's been feeling it for, I'd say, about 10-15 laps. He's going sideways. He's crawling through these corners, and he still can't make the corners as he loses his front wing, and that's going to be him pulling into the pits. Surely he comes into the pits. I know he's pissing himself right now. I know he's so mad. I know he is so upset. JBTC gets a 5-second. Is actually he crosses the line. He finishes. What? Finishes the race. Okay. Dutch Raven also finishes the race. Shry comes across the line, finishes the race as well. Chazzy coming across the line, P2. And Dan of the Mac coming in P3. I don't know why it's been ended this early. Maybe I'm a little desynced, but Dan of the Mac takes P3 in the race. P4 is going to come down to Edge, and P5 is going to come to Tibble. Does Tibble have enough penalty points? No, he does not. Not penalty points, penalties to move him down his position. No, he doesn't. So that moves him down to P5 for the, or that keeps him in P5. I don't know. I don't know why it ended. I really have no clue. I was still expecting another 2 laps. Homer comes across the line, sliding P6. Yeah, it caught me by surprise as well. I didn't know it was going to end. Um, it shouldn't have a time limit. It should just finish out the race. I really don't know what happened. Like, it ended it on JBTC, but JBTC wasn't the leader, so I don't know. Start comes across the line, last across the line. That is going to be the end of the race. Let's run down this grid one more time while we do this. Huh. That was weird. That was really interesting. I don't understand what happened, and I don't think any of us do. But congratulations to Shry. He's done an amazing job today. Great job. I didn't know F2 had a time limit. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. That's interesting. I don't know why they do that, but they do. Running down this grid one more time, it's going to be Shry taking the win, Chazzy taking P2, Dan of the Mac taking P3, Edge in P4, Tivil in P5, Homer in P6, Sitar in P7, Dutch Raven in P8, and P9 goes to JBTC, last person who finished the round. And it looks like Minico gets 2 points for getting pole in qualifying, but gets no points because he DNF'd in the race, as well as Bouncy, last person on track. Now, let's get some interviews rolling because I'm very excited. I want to hear what these guys have to say. Let's go ahead and just hop straight into the interview room. My apologies, guys. Give me a minute. All right, so first we're going to go ahead and pull in. Let's go ahead and pull in Dan of the Mac. Let's see what he's going to have to say to that performance today. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
How you doing?
Awfully. No, I'm doing really well. I'm shocked I'm here, I'll be honest with you.
Well, I'm not too shocked you're here because you had some great pace in that race, but
Uh-huh.
I don't think you had the pace to catch up to the front two. You were just fading backwards and backwards a little bit. And as soon as Minico DNF'd, what was going through your mind getting that,
Uh,
seeing that P3?
keep the 5 seconds to the guy behind because I have a feeling I'm gonna need them. Yeah, no, I wasn't necessarily unhappy with how I was driving. I drove a very clean race for the most part, barring lap one. I felt like I had good pace in the car. The grip was there. Much thanks to the team back at Kent. They've done a great job putting the campos together. It's a team effort to get us to where we are today, and I'm very proud of the effort they've been putting in recently. And we have to collectively come together on a car like this, especially with one with an equal chassis as everyone else. It's very hard to develop it.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially in such tricky conditions, you need a very good team behind you. A very good setup from that team, and it looked like you were sliding around a lot, but you had a lot of pace. You were doing, I'm pretty sure, 33s.
Mhm.
And Edge behind you was doing 33s, but nowhere near as fast as you. He was in the high 33s, you were low 33s. Great,
Mhm.
great job from you. I hope to see you here next week on the podium, sir.
Fingers crossed. That is the hope, but it's very unlikely. I'm not quick at the rest of these tracks.
Well, I thought Miniko was gonna win, and then Shry
What?
was outpacing him. So
That was kind of also my fault, but also we'll get to that at another time.
we'll get to that next week. You have a
All
wonderful
right.
rest of your night, sir. Thank you
Bye
very
bye.
much. Alrighty, next person we're gonna pull in is gonna be Shry, or not Shry, Chazzy. Chazzy is gonna be our P2 man. Hello, Chazzy.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm tired.
Tired? I believe it. What time is it? Like 4 a.m., 3 a.m.,
2.
2. Oh, it's not that bad. Well, 2 a.m. for a second place doesn't sound too off the charts. How you feeling about that race, and how you feeling about your pace against Miniko and Shry up ahead?
I mean, Shy just had a bit more pace than me, and
Nuts. It was
yeah,
wild. I just saw him putting in fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap, and then I see you putting in your fastest lap, and I thought you were gonna beat him, and then I think you lost it and lost the time in the third sector, but
yeah,
it was, you were right there. He just had the consistency to keep doing those laps, and
yeah.
yeah,
I had a mistake in me every so laps.
yeah.
Every like,
Well, run me down how your battle with Miniko went before he DNF'd, and then your chase to Shry, how it ended up getting you P2 in that race.
well, Miniko, we just sat behind Dan. We couldn't really get past in the first stint. Um, he was holding us back. Oh wait, actually,
I
that was a
think
long ass race. I can't lie.
it was actually, y'all ran into the time limit. Y'all
Yeah.
only did 37 laps.
So I think after the first safety car, yeah, we were just stuck behind Dan. Um, and Miniko just kept trying put too much throttle out of that last corner, and eventually, I got the run.
Yeah,
Um, he did get damage from that as well.
I saw.
Yeah, and we had a really good battle through sector 1, and I clicked the grass and went off.
I mean, Dana the Mac did the same thing and then gave you P2, and then he started falling backwards. So karma goes both ways, good and bad. Well,
Yeah,
thank you so much for coming into this interview. Congratulations on your P2, and I hope I see you next week.
thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, and last but certainly not least, it's gonna be Shry. Shry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How you doing, sir? How you feeling after that?
I'm doing well.
Dude,
First win is awesome, man. So
first win, and in that manner, you were rapid in the wet
yeah,
conditions. You were putting in fastest lap after fastest lap, and even with Miniko and Chazzy behind you, you were outpacing both of them. How you feeling? Run me through how you're feeling about your setup, your race car, and the race overall.
Netherlands as a whole is a great track. One of my favorite tracks, and I took full advantage of it. Start of the race went perfectly, able to get a great run on Minico to turn one, and sucks that he got hit unfortunately. So that kind of put him back further. So Dan had some great defending he did, but I felt like I was very consistent throughout that whole race. I didn't really make a single mistake. I think I had one track limit warning, and that was into the fast chicane, like before the final corner. So it
Yeah,
was a great overall race for me, in my opinion. So
I 100% agree. You had a flawless race. I didn't see you go off one time. I didn't see you go have a huge snap. You were putting in fastest lap after fastest lap, consistent lap times there at the end as well, doing like 32s whenever everyone else was doing 33s. You're nuts,
yeah,
firstly.
I would
Secondly,
I had a I had like a 6, 7 lap stint where I was trying to break my fastest lap and I was within a tenth like 4 or 5 times. I was like, God dang it!
Yeah,
But
I
it was good.
you almost had the fastest lap stolen from you, but that didn't
I
matter because
know.
he lost it. So
Yeah.
you kept it. So you get the win and the fastest lap point.
Only thing better would
Congratulations.
have been the 2 points for pole, but hey,
Right, but
a
Miniko
tenth
is
off
just
from that.
Miniko beat you by a tenth. Wow,
Yeah,
that's nuts.
it was close.
Well,
I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
yeah. Good luck on the next couple of races
Really
of the
appreciate you
season.
commentating.
I
Can't wait to watch it back.
appreciate you all racing, giving me a very fun race to watch. I hope I can see y'all next week. I hope I can see you on this podium in this interview next week.
Appreciate it. Good luck Sunday. Hope to see you
Appreciate you.
again.
Thank
Peace.
you. Good luck. Alrighty. And that concludes F2, Round 5 in MRL Season 10. Last things, watch Sunday, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, join the Discord if you haven't already as well. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.